it was decided that Varda would be forbidden to manufacture power plants. And we started importing power plants from abroad, and then the price of electricity shot up. The second was that we have huge resources. We have one of the largest coal, and you heard Dr. Samarao Bachman's lecture here, and he would have told you the tremendous potential of coal reserves. If you look at Pakistan, less than 1% of our electricity comes from coal. If you look at India, over 50% of its electricity comes from coal. If you look at China, 65% of its electricity comes from coal. So while we are sitting on top of a huge reserve of energy, we are not using it. We have huge water reserves. Hydroelectric power is very cheap. When I was a Minister for Science, I had a national survey done, and you need to have 2 years of data for wind energy. We did a wind mapping done of Pakistan. And it turned out that Katigandan, Hyderabad triangle had 50,000 megawatts potential of electricity. But we have just put in now only about 100 megawatt capacity of plants. So, we haven't done things. And so, unfortunately, it has been due to poor planning and poor leadership.
Some young engineer needs your advice. We are living and working here since 3 years, but unable to continue education after engineering. What would you suggest for us?
The world is yours. You have engineering education worldwide. Why do you have to just look at any one country? Opportunity in one country, you have the whole world open. My grandson is doing his engineering at McGill University now. And so you have top universities across the world. They are in Canada, they are in USA. I sent a lot of students to Europe, frankly, to Germany, to France, to Italy, because the fee is almost zero for PhD level studies. People often don't know that. Education is in English. Even in France, even in Italy, fees are almost zero, a few hundred euros for top universities. So we could send 3 or 4 students to Germany instead of sending one to the UK or to USA. So I targeted some of the top universities in Europe. So there are lots of opportunities of sending people to top institutions. Just look at the top leading institutions in some of these countries and go there.
When will the large gap of education and technology between India versus Pakistan will get reduced? When will the large gap of education and technology between India versus Pakistan will be getting?
I think in the higher education sector, as I said in research, we have caught up with India already. India has some very good institutions which are better than Pakistan, such as the Indian Institutes of Technology. We have to still match them. But we have had some very good institutions come up in the last 7-8 years, which include the National University of Science and Technology, which include POMSAT, which include PIASA, the Atomic Energy Commission. We have INGIA in IIM in Faisalabad, and these are as good as the best Indian institutions. So in some institutions, but India has been at it for 60 years. In our case, we have only recently been investing in higher education and science. And in research, at least, as I said, we are now at par or ahead of India in terms of research publication, which is no mean achievement. So I think that the gap is not that much there, and we can certainly catch up in terms of the best institutions given another 5 or 10 years of committed effort by our governments.
The question is not clear, but I will read. Are all the universities producing same quality and standard, or just mishandling of the university?
There is a huge variability of standards in our universities. There are some very weak universities and there are some very strong universities. So when I was the chairman of the Higher Education Commission, I started ranking all the universities and publishing the ranking in newspapers to put the weaker universities to shame. There was also a lot of mushrooming of private sector universities, and so we said you have to have certain minimum standards, otherwise the private university will be closed down. And many private university campuses were closed down during my time. And the cabinet approved certain criteria, which are minimum eligibility criteria of what constitutes a university, so that you don't have top boy operations in 2 rooms where students are, just being taken advantage of. So that has to be strictly controlled and implemented. So those institutions which are substandard must be closed down. You must not compromise on quality.
What steps the Muslims are taking to
we made magnificent achievements during a certain time. Qanun fil Tib by Ibn Sina. Avicenna was taught for 600 years in the books of medicine. Al-Biruni, and there are many others, Farazmi, and many others, monumental contributions. But since we are being left behind, so we have to wake up, we have to stand with dignity along with these nations, and then they will respect us, and they will talk about us too. But first we have to prove ourselves.
Thank you very much, Dr. That's all the questions.
Thank you.
Answered.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ata Ur Rahman, for giving very useful lecture and then giving subsequently answer to the very important questions and very tricky questions. Thank you, Iqbal Bhai, for your help. Now, gentlemen, at this time, I will request Professor Dr. Ibrahim Al-Hamad for his address. I will request.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Professor Ata Ur Rahman, Your Excellency Naeem Khan, my colleagues, the engineers, the Pakistan engineers in Saudi Arabia, it's a pleasure to be here. And I really enjoyed it for the second year, so I was lucky to be nominated by the Saudi Council of Engineers to present them here. And had this opportunity, and I would say unique opportunity, to meet with eminent people like you here. Today, you and I learned a lot, so another distinguished speaker here. Last year, we had another man in his size and contribution to Pakistan. And really, for me, as personally, this is a very enlightening and getting proud of what Pakistan do, because we always feel there's a kind of fraternity, special fraternity between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. And any achievement in any one of those countries would be really an added value for the other one. I don't want to be, there's nothing I can add to this gentleman here. He has said it all, and I look forward that we have more Pakistani know-how and engineering contribution to this country, because it's an open and distinguished equality. And I would like to stress the equality because we were discussing with Professor Ata Ur Rahman that the higher quality you have for admission, the best standard you have in your schools. And with this, I wish to conclude my small talk because everybody looked tired and hungry. So I wish you a good weekend. Thank you again for the Pakistan engineer sections here for giving me this chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim, for your consent.
is an asset for Pakistan, particularly for the community of scientists and professionals. I am grateful to the Institute of Engineers, Pakistan Saudi Arabian Center for providing us all this opportunity to benefit from the knowledge and wisdom of Dr. Ata Ur Rahman. What we heard from him today in terms of scientific developments is simply mind-boggling. IEP-SAC deserves credit for its services to the community of engineers and profession of engineering. Through its publications and seminars, the institution provides valuable service to engineers from the brotherly country of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. It's an honor to be here among this august body of Pakistani engineers, architects and town planners who have generated immense goodwill for their motherland with their standard of professionalism and excellence. I am confident that the IEP and Pakistani engineers will continue to discharge their duties in the kingdom in an admirable manner, thus contributing to the technical know-how and expertise of the two countries. I suggest that IEP develop a mechanism to identify and publicize job opportunities in the kingdom for Pakistani engineers. I also suggest that IEP develop orientation programs and guidelines tailored for newly arrived engineers, architects, and other professionals in the kingdom so that they know the do's and don'ts of professional and social life in the kingdom. For any organization to prosper, and I repeat it, for any organization to prosper and justify its existence, it is mandatory that it provides services to members and the general public. The Embassy of Pakistan has always striven to assist the community of engineers and other professionals in their various pursuits. It has been our desire and attempt to look after the interests of Pakistani professionals in the kingdom. The Pakistani engineers, doctors, and other professionals in the kingdom have acted as a bridge between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, and their services have earned Pakistan a lot of credit and goodwill. Since the topic today is higher education, science and technology, imperative for socio-economic development, let me offer some brief comments related to this subject in our parietal context. We realize that there is great scope for expanding cooperation between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia in the fields of higher education, science and technology. The needs and strengths of the two countries are complementary. Pakistan has a huge pool of human capital in these areas, while the kingdom has the capital and the infrastructure and is looking for scientists, researchers and educationists. For this purpose, we have agreed that the best avenue for across-the-board cooperation is the Joint Ministerial Commission. The Commission was formed 40 years ago, but was effectively dormant. While it had held only 8 sessions in the past 40 years, we revived it and have succeeded in holding 2 sessions, and since 2012, apart from 2 follow-up sessions. The 10th session of JMC was held recently in Riyadh, and the two countries have agreed on a number of initiatives to enhance cooperation. We realize that population in both countries is characterized by a youth bulge. More than 60% population is below the age of 30 in Pakistan and the kingdom. Greater interaction between the youth and the two countries, therefore, is of fundamental importance. Pakistan can share this experience in education, science and technology, and other fields with the Saudi youth. There is great room for creating synergy between the two countries in the field of higher education and cooperation in academic studies and research. We proposed during the last session of JMC that Saudi Arabia may include Pakistan in countries where Saudi students could signed the MOU, while King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology would also do so with National University of Science and Technology. We are also proposing that an Urdu language chair be established at King Saud University, Riyadh, and it be named after Allama Muhammad Iqbal. Saudi Arabia, Dr. Khan was mentioning about investment in the education sector. Saudi Arabian education sector has witnessed enviable expansion during the recent past. The country has embarked on an ambitious plan of building a number of new universities in different cities. Nearly 130,000 Saudi students are now studying abroad. About 50,000 of them are going to graduate from top 500 universities by 2020. Now King Abdullah, in 2014, this year, in 2014, US $56 billion have been allocated for education sector. King Abdullah has approved an additional 5-year plan for which about $21 billion have been allocated for education development. The plan includes building 1,500 nursery schools, training about 25,000 teachers, and establishing educational centers. It will link schools with the broadband internet system, make smart classrooms, and use computer system for e-education needs. Since all the newly registered students have to study English for 1 year as the preparatory phase, the program stands in need of a large number of English teachers. Pakistan can come forth and help at this juncture. Our teachers, therefore, would provide Saudi students with strong linguistic skills in English. Pakistan has also been playing a leading role in science and technology in the OIC. It hosts COMSTEC, which is Standing Committee of OIC on Science and Technology. COMSTEC has a key position in this regard and has been running commendable programs for the benefit of all OIC member states. Let me also underline the crucial role that the private sector can play in the area of higher education. Private sector is the engine of growth in many areas. While provision of basic education facilities is the responsibility of government, it is the private sector which can establish centers of excellence in higher education. We have, over the years, been able to develop some good institutions in the private sector, and they need to now operate at the international level. Particularly, they need to reach out to students and scholars in other Muslim countries and offer them scholarships and employment opportunities. To conclude, in a highly globalized and increasingly sophisticated world, socio-economic development is totally contingent on progress in higher education and science and technology. We cannot meet the growing challenge of poverty, disease, food shortages, water scarcity, etc., without realizing the importance of these key sectors. Progress in science and technology and education will translate into better socio-economic indicators. I reiterate my gratitude to the Institute of Engineers Pakistan. I wish them complete success in their future endeavors, particularly their philanthropic activities and noble endeavors such as award of scholarships to deserving and needy students in Pakistani engineering colleges and universities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency Muhammad Khan, our ambassador, for very noble and correct suggestions for the promotion of the human intellectual capital and for your appreciation for Pakistani engineers, doctors, and other professions. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, now before I call our chairman for his address, we have a small interlude, just
Yeah, excuse me. Can you come to the center, please? Center. Thank you so much. Please, together. Yeah. One more, please. Okay, thank you.
For the outstanding leadership and graceful achievement for Pakistan and Pakistani American Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Shield of Honor is presented to our Ambassador His Excellency Muhammad Naeem Khan. I will request Dr. Ata Ur Rahman and Professor Ibrahim to jointly present the shield. In the definition of promoting the engineering profession, services in the field of engineering accreditation and active cooperation with the IEP-SAC, shield of appreciation and honor is presented to Saudi Council of Engineers to be received by Professor Dr. Ibrahim Al-Rahman. Cooperation with the IEP-SAC and promotion of the engineering profession. Shields of appreciation will be presented to number 1 Riyadh Davis, and I will request.
Yes, sir.
So yes, and I will request Dr. Ibrahim Saab to please present this shield to representative of Riyadh Davis. Presented to representative of the Sawari, please come on the stage and receive the shield from our Ambassador His Excellency Muhammad Naeem Khan. His Excellency Muhammad Naeem Khan and Dr. Ata Ur Rahman. Representative of the Americans will receive the shield from our Ambassador His Excellency Muhammad Naeem Khan and our keynote speaker Dr. Ata Ur Rahman. The next one please come forward, representative of the AD Contracting Company.
Yeah.
The next one, Al-Manara, company representative, please come on the stage. Al-Manara.
Name?
I have a request.
For the AV contract. Thank you. Excuse me. Go to the center, please.
Also, his son.
Please, excuse me.
Grandson.
Look at here, please. Aap idhar dekh. Janisa, please. Can you?
This is future.
Next one, the representative of Freeport
Thank you.
Education Center, please come on the stage and receive a shield.
Yeah. One more. Thank you.
We'll get the nano cameras.
Followed by Engineer Ghulam Sabda. Engineer Ghulam Sabda.
Excuse me. Please. Sorry.
नहीं बात
Thank you.
With the IEP-SAC and recognition of outstanding crop services, I will request our engineer Farooq Sheikh, please come on the stage and receive shield of appreciation.
Engineer Farooq Sheikh is the Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, As-salatu
الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي صدق الله العظيم. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, designated and elected Deputy General Secretary of OAC, His Excellency Naeem Khan, internationally distinguished speaker, UNESCO Science Laureate, Professor and Dr. Ata Ur Rahman, the board members of Saudi Engineering Council, Professor Dr. Ibrahim Al-Hamad, General Secretary of IEP-SAC, Engineer Mubashir Kirmani, and Seminar Chairman, Engineer Iqbal, and dear fellow engineers, scientists, architects, and town planners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good evening. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given us so many blessings in the life. We have good jobs, we have good families, we have all different businesses, and one of the business today is this seminar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Summa latus'alunna yawmaizin anil na'im. On this verse, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to his Sahaba that what you are eating, the 2 days, these are the blessings for which you will be accounted for, and in the Akhirah we will be accounted for this seminar, what we have learned today. The speaker is not only known in his field of international publication by just missing few numbers to count his total number to 1,000. He has published 947 publications in the international things. Not only that, I would like to know from this house, is there anyone who has performed Hajj in 1951? Is there anyone? Yes, there is one, Dr. Ata Ur Rahman. Education is the heart and the backbone of any country development. Therefore, with the support and the approval of this House, I would like to request His Excellency the Ambassador of Pakistan to convey our request to the existing government to increase the educational budget expenditure, not allocation, expenditure from 1.9% of GDP to 5% only this year. Plus, to increase the educational expenditure every year 1% per year. By the end of 5 years, we would like to see the educational expenditure to be 10%. Is this House approve this proposal? Today, His Excellency Naeem Khan is in a very good place. He has done an excellent job for Pakistan, and now he is moving on to better job. As I mentioned earlier, that inshallah he will be moving to OIC. So I would humbly request and extend the statement mentioned by Dr. Ata Ur Rahman that for the Muslim countries, the research fund was supposed to be established. Let's do it, Naeem Sahab. In the business world, is always give and take. Since I have given you 2 things to do it, yes, I will take your 2 advices which you have mentioned, that inshallah IEP will try to establish the job opportunities through our website, and as well as to prepare the guidelines and the orientation for the new engineers and architects as suggested by you.